Welcome back into the Sports Source. This segment of our program brought to you by Calhoun's. The Vols, as I mentioned, have lost 11 straight SEC games, which makes it a great time to remind you that Calhoun's always has great craft beer available at their bar area from the Smoky Mountain Brewery. They got great stuff at Calhoun's. Actually, with the open date coming up, it's a terrific place to watch all the games. Is in any of the Calhoun's locations. Weather's still good enough to where you can get out and enjoy a deck or patio, but they've always got the great bar area with the TVs and everything and the craft beer service. So Calhoun's, the taste of Tennessee. Want to welcome in to more panelists today. We have Bob Hodge right here. Down there is Chuck Cavaleris. Thanks to both of you for being here.
Glad to be here.
This is our Hot Read segment. Each of these guys, each pairing gets a question. First one will go to Bob and Will. Tennessee had 5 penalties for 25 yards yesterday. It doesn't sound too terrible, but they were costly. They wiped out good field position a couple times. One of them kept a Georgia touchdown drive alive. And unbelievably, you had 3 calls of the exact same thing, 2 on back-to-back plays where Tennessee had 5 men in the backfield in punt formation. After the game, Jeremy Pruitt's quote was, "Our left guard wasn't breaking the plane to the center. I learned a lesson." There's been a lot of talk that, well, I can blame Butch Jones for all this talent loss, and every loss is on Butch Jones. Hard to blame the last staff for dumb mistakes that are costly in this game. Got to get that cleaned up, don't you?
Yeah, you do. And what I don't understand, usually when a ref throws the flag, the coach says, okay, what was that? And the ref should have said, your guard didn't break the plane to the center. I don't see how that happened 3 times unless the player that was slow to learn or the coaches didn't tell him. But the ref should have gave them an explanation after number 1.
And Pruitt was talking to him.
And Pruitt was talking
between
to
the
him.
second and third.
So I don't understand that. I mean, do you blame that on a rookie coach? Do you blame it on a player that maybe got the instruction to move up, didn't do it quite enough? I don't know. But I thought that was odd. I'm going to lay that on rookie coach mistake.
And it was,
which we knew you'd have them.
Yeah. I mean, that was a little bit of an embarrassing one because, like you said, I didn't understand what happened because they should tell you that it's the guard. It's not a wide receiver. And 1 point, you saw Pruitt counting, being like, and you're like, no, it's the guard. I mean, and you're not counting him. You shouldn't be counting him. But so that was definitely one of those that you looked at and went, and it was learning experience.
Kind of ironic. Before the game, Pruitt said he talked to the officiating crew that he thought Georgia was lining up illegally in punt formations, and he said, "Well, I guess they thought I was talking about Tennessee."
Yeah. You need to watch that guard on there.
Flag him. Be sure to flag him.
We're trying to teach him a lesson. All right, you got to clean that up. All right, but I think you're right, though. I think you hit it. We knew going in, rookie coach, you're going to have issues. I bet we never see that out of Tennessee again as long as he's here. Let me ask Chuck. Well, you hope not. If I'm talking about after the Auburn game, it'd be hotter than this. Chuck and Jimmy. Jarrett Garantano didn't get many deep chances in the first half. Second half, he was pretty good, 7 of 11, 2 touchdowns in the second half. Was able to wing it downfield a bit. Were you surprised that it was Garantano all the way until the very end? Because you've seen Chris the last 2 or 3 games mixed in there. Do you feel that they're using the quarterbacks properly in terms of what they're asking them to do? Thoughts on the quarterbacks and the way they're using them?
Well, I mean, I think if you watch Tennessee play, you don't feel like Garantano's your problem, do you? I mean, he's been doing well. He's improved a lot, and I think as long as he continues to be efficient, I just don't think you give him enough chances to be successful. I think he's kind of handcuffed by what you're calling, and until they change that, your strength on offense, you don't have many, is the deep ball, correct? If you give him time, that's one of the things you do well.
Well, see, I wonder if they're not calling as many deep balls because they don't trust the offensive line or the pass protection or whatever. Maybe they don't trust Garantano to pick up the blitz some. I don't know. I didn't have a problem with them going with Garantano. I know he had a knee brace on. He practiced with it all week, and he played with it. I still think he gives you a better chance to win. I do think that they did a better job, at least with their first down play calling in terms of throwing the football because they had, by my count, 19 first downs. I don't count the kneel down at the end of the half. So 19 first down plays. You threw 8 passes and you called another one where you got a sack. I think you needed to do that a little bit more. You threw to Ty Chandler out of the backfield. You needed to do that. I don't have an issue with the way they're using the quarterbacks. I think Garantano needs to be the guy at the control, and I'm sure they didn't want him to run any in the zone read.
Right. No, it's, let me go ahead.
Well, just add something real quick about Garantano. Is it possible he's checking down a lot simply because he's been hit a lot? and he drops back, and his clock in his head says, I'm about to get squished. I'm checking down, and maybe he really did have the time.
There was definitely a play in that game yesterday. He dropped back, and a guy kind of brushed by him, and but the tackle had him, and he took off running. And I mean, and it was a clear point and play that I've been hit a lot.
Yeah.
I'm a little gun shy, and so I saw that for sure yesterday that his clock was running even when he hadn't been hit that much.
Which is part of it. That's part of the problem of being hit all the time.
Right.
I mean, that's you see that with pro quarterbacks.
And aren't you getting a little tired of hearing how tough he is? Yeah, we know he's tough.
Stop hitting him.
Yeah, really. Come on.
Well, Bob, there's still people out there, and it's why you need each team needs one great quarterback and then nobody else on the bench. As silly as that sounds, that's the only way to prevent I think they ought to be playing the other guy. There's still people talking about, I think they ought to go with Christ. He's the player. Did you see that bomb he threw against East Tennessee State? We were talking yesterday, though. You made a good point. Coaches are seeing Garantano and Christ every day in practice.
Yeah.
They've seen Garantano in games. Who are they going with?
If they thought that Chris, I mean, these guys get paid a lot of money, and they want to keep getting paid a lot of money. If they thought that Chris gave them the best chance to win, he's going to play. Now, the mitigating factor could be, are they saying, okay, we've got Garantano 2 more years. We know this year's not going to be that great, so let's give it all to him. But I saw nothing yesterday that made me think that Keller Chris comes in and changes much for Tennessee.
And based on the way Pruitt is coached, I don't see him doing that. I mean, you went out and you brought in Chris. You gave up a 4-year scholarship to bring in a 1-year scholarship guy this year. I don't think that's it. I think you're right. That could be it, but I don't think that's it. I think they realize Garantano's the guy. And they know what they're looking at, unless it comes to punt formations.
Yes.
Fortunately, Tua ruined that for everybody because there was a better guy.
Yes, exactly.
That guy was 26-2.
I don't think Chris is
Go ask Clemson about playing 2 quarterbacks.
Yeah. Or 3 as they needed yesterday. All right. When we come back, the rest of our VFLs join us. Who played well yesterday? And there were 3 up. They're going to have to decide who the 3 up were. Who played poorly yesterday? We'll talk 3 up, 3 down with our VFLs next. Come on back on the Sports List.